In this session, we'll merge the menu we just created with the financial charts from earlier. Start by opening the PowerPoint file containing the finished menu. Go to the selection pane and carefully select each object in the menu. Hold down Control while clicking each one to select them all together. Once everything is selected, copy the objects, then switch over to the PowerPoint file where you have the financial charts. Paste the menu elements into each of the financial chart slides, one by one. Repeat this process for all 3 slides. Once you've pasted the menu into each slide, go ahead and play through the slides one more time. You'll notice that when you click the inactive icons, the transitions happen instantly without any animation. That's because the morph transition hasn't been applied yet. To fix that, head to the Transitions tab and apply morph to all 3 slides. Now, play the presentation again. You should see the menu glide into place with smooth transitions and the active icon shifting naturally within the menu structure. But wait, let's freeze the frame here for a moment. Another issue has appeared, one that I actually foreshadowed in an earlier session. The floating data bars are visible for a split second before the transition finishes. That's because the morph transition occurs before any of the animations are triggered. To fix this, we need to add a hide box, a simple shape that temporarily covers the data bars and disappears once the slide finishes transitioning. So, let's fix the flicker issue by inserting a hide box. Start by heading to the Insert tab, then click Shapes and choose a rectangle. Next, use the eyedropper tool to match the fill and outline color with the background. Once that's done, go to the selection pane. Rename the shape something like Hide Box so it's easy to identify later. Now drag the box over the data bars, and in the selection pane, position it below the labels and above the data bars. After that, we can animate the hide box. Select the hide box you just created, then head to the Animations tab. Click Add Animation and choose Disappear. Open the Animation pane, find the Disappear animation for the box, and drag it up to sit just below the data bar Disappear Animations. Then, right-click on the animation and choose Start After Previous. You can even add a small delay. Around 0.25 seconds works well. This makes sense because the hide box is layered on top of the data bars and should disappear only after the bars themselves have finished fading out. Once that's working, copy the hide box, paste it into the remaining 2 slides, and repeat the same steps. Adjust the position in the selection pane to sit just above the data bars, but below everything else that needs to stay visible. Now, play through the slides and check the transitions. At first glance, everything seems to be working. The data bars no longer flicker. However, when you transition to another slide for the first time, the bug still appears. This is not something that's easy to explain, because logically, everything should work. The hide box is layered correctly. The animations are timed properly. The transitions are set. But PowerPoint is still an old tool, and it has quirks. What's happening here is that the first time you move from one slide to another, all the animations are being loaded in simultaneously and then triggered after the load. Even the ones that are supposed to be delayed or triggered after, like our overlay, won't trigger instantly, creating this little bug. However, once the slides have loaded for the first time, everything works correctly. If you go back and forth between the slides afterward, the bug disappears. So, if you wish to use this as a presentation tool, the best approach is to preload each slide before you begin. Simply play the slideshow. Click through each slide once and allow everything to load. After that, the transitions and animations will look smooth and clean, just as intended. The last thing to do would be to insert a header and a text box. But you've already learned how to do that in a previous module, so you should be more than capable of handling that on your own now. Thanks for following along, and I'll see you in the next module.